Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. Alright, I know this was a highly anticipated one. Puma Fast R3, finally at the Mint Hill shoe market for review. And if you're looking for a new carbon shoe, maybe you're looking for the Fast R3, or maybe you're looking for some deals, make sure you're on the Supball app. It's my app. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. Best place to find deals on carbon-plated race shoes. So if you want to go to Carbon County, you can find deals on shoes for $100, $130. Also, this month, May, we are doing our community challenge. It's $30 to join. You get a t-shirt, you get stickers, you get 6 workouts. That's right, I upped it from 4 to 6 because there's 4.5 weeks. So I'm giving some bonus workouts in there, but there's 4 workouts, 1 for each week. I'm throwing a few bonus workouts in there. If you're looking for something to get you through to your next marathon training block, or you're looking for something to kick you in the behind, to give you a little boost, to push your fitness, come on and join us. If you're looking for something to take you to the fall or the spring or the summer race slate, come and join us. I'm excited about it. It's called Run Some Dang Hills. It's all about stacking mileage and elevation. Link is in the description below. Enjoy today's video. Puma Fast R3 in the house at the shoe market for review. I did buy it on Running Warehouse. Look at that. That's kind of aggressive. I don't know why I'm doing that. Bought on Running Warehouse. $321.87, I believe, was the final with shipping and taxes. And man, even though the whole point of this business is for me to buy and test shoes, it hurts. It hurts. It's painful for that cash outlay to go out. And here's the thing about money. Money is a tool. That's really all it is. This is what I have to remind myself anytime. So last week our kitchen pipes broke, or the cast iron pipes from 1977. We had to get them replaced. This week our fridge broke. I don't even know when it's from. It was probably from 2003. Our fridge broke. This is what happens when you buy an older house. We bought this house a few years ago. Things break, but that's the point of money. Money is a tool. That's all it is. So $321, it's expensive, but from a business standpoint, money is a tool for me to get these shoes and test them. Shout out to the birds putting ad-libs on the track here. See, I buy nearly all of these shoes myself now. So if you are aligned with that mission of independent testing, make sure, I don't talk about this enough. I think most people know, especially the app people, but if you don't know, make sure to use my link for Running Warehouse to buy any of these shoes. It makes a big difference to support the channel so that I can buy shoes like this. And I know the new Asics shoes were just announced today. That's another $900 worth of carbon right there that's going to be releasing later this year. We got the New Balance shoes. So it helps support the channel if you buy the shoes through the Running Warehouse link. And then for the app people, we do have a discount code for Running Warehouse that will take money off of gear. I think it's 20% off of gear, so off of apparel, which is a really good deal. 20% off of a new singlet for your race, and then 10% off of fuel. But yeah, this is the Fast R3. This is the latest and greatest when it comes to marathon racing technology. And earlier this week, I was traveling, so I did a few pre-recorded videos there on some of my favorite shoes. I did my rotation video, and then I did a video on the only shoes that I trust for fast running. And these were some of them that I still had in this box. I didn't even properly put these shoes away after filming that video because I was rushing around. So few of my favorite shoes here. I don't know how the Pro 2 ended up in that box still, but that is one of my favorite shoes for fast running. These right here would be my top 3, and it shifts depending on the day. It shifts depending on the workout. It shifts depending on which one of these did I run in last. What do I want to run in next? But they are really all so close. On any day, one of these 3 could be my favorite. That's Nike Alphafly 3. This one is bouncy and highly cushioned, extremely protective. If I had to pick what is each of these best at, this would be the long run cruiser. This one for me is the one I'll pick for marathon style training run, if I had a 24-mile long run with 10 miles at marathon pace, this is the one that I would feel confident doing that training in and having my legs feel protected. Then we have the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. This is the one that I like the most for short, fast efforts, 400-meter repeats, 200-meter repeats. If we're training using the Daniel system, which is one of my favorite ways to train, even if I don't use the exact workouts from him, I use the structure and the paces. It's a big inspiration for my style of training. So any of those are style workouts. So repeats, which are close to 1 mile race pace, that's where the Metaspeed Sky Paris shines. And it's also great for slightly slower training, interval training, and threshold training as well. And you can, of course, do marathons in it. And then we have the Puma. Boom. I think is that? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Ooh, is that too bright? I think we'll go like that. All right, that's perfect. Then we have the Puma here. This is the Deviate Nitro Elite 3, $230. One of the best value shoes on the market. And when we're talking about value, we have to compare to the category. It's not the cheapest. The Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 is the cheapest at $225, at least out of the mainstream segment, not including niche brands like Atreyu, whose technology is not up to par with the segment, and also not including, oh my goodness, bro, there's a moth just tripping out. All right, let's get that thing out of here. Yeah, not including the Chinese brands who are also a lot cheaper. And by the way, my friend Jack Crago, Jogon Crago, he's a Australian shoe tester. He does test a lot of the Chinese shoes and Western market shoes. So make sure to check out his channel and his Instagram if you are interested in those. I do not test those for a variety of reasons, but he's one of my favorite shoe reviewers, so check his stuff out if you haven't for more reviews on the race shoes. But $230 for the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 here, and regardless of the price, they could have priced this at $280, they could have priced it at $260, and I would feel the same way about it. The versatility is amazing. Out of these three here, this is the one that I enjoy the most for just getting out there and running. There's a lot of bounce in this foam. It's also a very simple construction here, so you get a thick slab of this Nitro Elite. It feels more cushioned in the forefoot than the Metaspeed Sky Paris. Up there with the Alphafly, and similar to the Alphafly, it does have a lot of pop off the front here. So it's just a simple, reliable race shoe. Simple in that it's carbon fiber plate, race foam, not too aggressive of a geometry, but still does have a really nice rocker, similar to the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, which was a hit. So this right now is the category leader. Even though it's one of the least expensive shoes, it's the shoe that works best for the most people. A lot of hobby joggers are going for it for their races. It tends to just work. There's not a lot wrong with it. The Sky Paris can be too aggressive. It's very narrow in the heel back here. It also can be weirdly firm out of the box. It's just not going to work for everyone. It is a very aggressive, fast-tuned shoe. This is a shoe that Clayton Young races in for his marathons, and it very much feels like an elite marathon shoe, a shoe where I have to be running at my fastest speeds to get the most benefit. And then we have the Alphafly 3. Not everybody loves the feeling of the aggressive bounce of the pod. It also does have, it has a lot of cushion, but it just has a more aggressive feel to it when you lace it up. The rocker is aggressive. I love it, and I like running a lot of miles in it, but it's not going to be for everyone. The Deviate Nitro Elite 3, it feels more accessible and approachable to a lot of runners. So why is Puma coming out with the Fast R3? Well, it's exactly for that purpose, right? Something more aggressive, something even faster, something to compete with the Alphaflys and maybe the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2s of the world. By the way, this is the most slept on race shoe, maybe of all time. I'll go out on a limb and say this is the most slept on race shoe of all time. It's just been sitting there on Running Warehouse for the past 3 months at $160, and with our discount code, which I should have mentioned, it takes 10% off of the last gen race shoes or discounted shoes in general. You can get this for $144. One of the fastest shoes out there. It might be as fast as the Metaspeed Sky Paris and Alphafly. This toe-off experience is just insane. I did a repeat workout in it a few months ago, or about a month ago, and I was hitting 5 flat pace, 800s at 5 flat pace like nothing in it, and then I was cranking some 400s at a 440 pace or something. So it is a very fast shoe. The geometry is so aggressive. The foam is super bouncy. Just look at this thing. All right, so planned diversion. If you want a good aggressive race shoe on a deal, half the price of the Fast R, check out the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2. But Puma's been dropping a bunch of heat recently. They really have not missed with their last few releases. This has been great. The training version of this, the DV8 Nitro, I liked that a lot last year. The Mag Max was my favorite training shoe of the past year. So I'm excited to see what they're doing with the Fast R3. And I know some of you are excited to see this too, but my question is this old news now? Because Asics just released their race shoe today. And that's the tough part about buying these shoes myself. I don't get them. I can't get them until they're available for everyone. So sometimes we miss the hype cycle. I think the hype cycle of this ended last week, but you know what? The mileage cycle never ends. So Puma Fast R3. Let's do it. All right, we got the black box here, Forever Faster on it. You can see I got my normal 10.5, some nice chromed out accents. I like it. Black and chrome is a solid colorway, and it's not what I would expect from a German brand. Black and chrome is a very American color combination. It reminds me of an Escalade. I guess you could see a G-Wagon could be black and chrome, but chrome is not that common on G-Wagons. All right, boom. Ooh, they put the receipt in here. By the way, shout out to Grant, because he actually bought these for me. I reimbursed him, but he stayed up, or he stayed up late to try to get the Pumas on Puma.com, because that's what they're releasing first, and then he was able to snag them for me the next day as soon as they dropped on Running Warehouse. I think he actually was trying to stay up late, and then he fell asleep. So thank you, Grant, for getting me these. Let's see, he got himself a pair too, so I'm sure he'll be putting his video up on the app. Bada boom, bada bang. Ooh, great colorway, man. This is a great colorway. This is like the Dwayne Wade Miami Vice. So I guess it would be Jimmy Butler, because I don't think they did those Miami Vice uniforms back when Dwayne Wade was on the Heat. But yeah, we got this beautiful teal turquoise mixed with this super bright. Let me see if I can modify the light settings here for you so you can see. Yeah, just look how much. Can you see how much this is popping on the back here? It's essentially glowing right back here. So you get this beautiful orange that's glowing. It's this orange salmon into this pink in the middle, and then into this, it's a mint right here under the forefoot, and then at the toe, it's a beautiful blue. So this is a really nice looking shoe. I love a white upper. I love a nice, clean, bright shoe. As you can see, all my favorite race shoes here, the colorways that I get them, are bright. I like feeling bright. I don't like wearing a black shoe on race day. I like feeling light and bright. So that's what we have going on here. Now, notable things about the construction of this, they have the heel cut out super aggressively back here, and a lot of us think when looking at it, oh, it's not for heel strikers, but you'd be surprised, man, because even the Alphafly has that heel cut. Look at this. Alphafly has that heel cut or that heel bevel, and then so does the Mizuno shoe. So what it does is it forces you, it doesn't even force you to land. It just ensures that when your foot lands, it's pointed forward. So we have this idea in our head that you can't heel strike in the shoe. It's just going to make sure that you're pointed forward when you land. So anybody can run in it, and it's not even these shoes that wreck my calves or anything. For me, what wrecks my calves is running faster than mile race pace, because it's a completely different form than marathon pace. And a lot of the discussion around foot strike and form, to me, what gets missed sometimes is a different form is going to be better for a different style of running or a different length of race. If you're training for a 4-hour marathon, your form is not going to be what stops you from hitting that goal. It's going to be your aerobic base, which is why I emphasize mileage so much in my system of training. And for any distance of aerobic race, especially starting at the 5K and up, mileage is just so important, because for most of us, if our base mileage isn't there, if the foundation of our fitness isn't there, we're not even going to be able to access running at the fraction of our maximal speed that we need to put out a solid performance. So I don't worry about foot strike at all. I don't do cadence training. I don't do any form training. What I do work on, though, is running economy and efficiency training. So that's the whole purpose for me of running at mile race pace and faster. It does help my feet pop off the ground quicker, and it helps me build more power. So I focus on power and strength, all those base things that help us improve as a runner, not these minor optimizations. And I also, for me, just my personal perspective, running is supposed to be enjoyable. Focusing on my form and my cadence is just so unenjoyable. I would rather get a root canal than try to rebuild my running form. So that is why I don't focus on that. But point being, these shoes typically tend to work for a lot of foot strikes, especially if you can run with it at those faster paces. It's not going to be a relaxed jogging shoe. It's just not. That's what the Mag Max is for. That's what the Deviate Nitro is for. If you want a plated version of something like this, that's what the Velocity Nitro could be for as well. So you get that aggressive heel bevel. You get a new version. This is a new version of the foam. I don't even know. It feels like a new version of the foam here. I'm not quite sure. And then you get the power plate. So you get an aggressive plate, and the kicker here, literally the kicker is the plate is low to the ground and it sticks out from the front. So you can see it's like a tongue poking out of the front. And the reason the shoe got so hyped up and was going to sell out everywhere is because everyone and their mother allegedly was lab tested in this thing to be more efficient than any other shoe. This is supposedly supposed to be the most efficient marathon shoe of all time. Also, and I know we just put that clip up from the review the other day on Instagram about the shoe doesn't win the race, and I really believe, man, the athletes put in all the work. But there was an athlete who used this shoe to have a breakthrough performance. That's Rory Linkletter, Canadian marathoner. He's also a fellow YouTuber, and I like his channel too. You should check that one out if you haven't yet. But he just ran a 2:07. He beat Clayton Young wearing this shoe at Boston. And again, wearing this shoe, the shoe did not do the performance. Maybe it enabled the performance. But this is what I was thinking about the other day. If you have an athlete wearing a Metaspeed Sky Paris and a Deviate Nitro Elite 3 and a Nike Alphafly 3, and it's a sprint to the finish line, it's not going to be the shoe that makes the difference in that sprint to the finish line. It's going to be whatever athlete can kick the hardest. Where the shoe is going to help is that efficiency at marathon pace when you're gliding, so just to be able to get you to that position. But again, it's all the work we put in through training. So anyway, this is supposed to be one of the best shoes of all time. People are comparing it. Hold on, I'll show you what people are comparing it to. All right, here we go. Also, hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm screaming today. Whenever I'm outside with the microphone, it's peaking. It clips. I'm going to work on that. I want to work on improving the audio here. The thing is, I shoot on manual. I can't have the audio on auto. It just doesn't work. So, and then I would have to adjust the audio settings every single time I'm shooting in a different way. And with my run and gun style, it just doesn't work. But I'm going to work on stuff to improve the audio. I want to make this the best experience for everybody. All right. So what people are comparing this to, which is just crazy to me, is the Nike Vaporfly OG. So this is the OG midsole with the fly knit upper here. I ran it a few weeks ago, and I'm really glad I did because it was eye-opening to me how little shoes have changed in the past 4 years with the formula. There's just not that much you could do. But what we have seen brands do is experiment with new compounds, bada boom, bada bang, and also change the geometry to be more aggressive, bada boom, bada bang, and also experiment with the plate position. Bada boom, bada bang. So the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 has all of that. It's still under 40 millimeters of stack height. It's still going to be, I'm guessing, what did I call this? The Deviate? This is the Fast R. But it's still going to be very similar in weight to the Nike here. And we are starting to see the weights go down in my size. We're starting to see them. I think the new Asics shoe was 129 grams. In a men's, probably that's a 9 or 9.5 sample size. So in my size, it would be around 150 grams, which is really light. Most of my favorite marathon shoes are around 220. So we are starting to see brands shave weight, but those three things are really the keys that we can experiment with to deliver a different ride: plate position, geometry, and foam type. But apparently, this is as big of a breakthrough as the original Vaporfly was. Apparently, people are being lab tested to be that much more efficient in this thing, which is just crazy. So it has to do something with how bouncy this foam is, mixed with the plate, mixed with the geometry, and what this plate poking out is supposed to do here. So when I went to TRE in 2023, I actually talked to a Puma rep, and that was before they released the second version of this shoe right here, and it's even more aggressive with the plate poking out in the front. He said it was for powerful propulsion. So this is supposed to be for lower cadence style runners who can drive a lot of force through the platform, which sounds like me. That is exactly my style of running, but this shoe just never worked for me. It felt clunky, heavy, even just holding it. It is a very heavy shoe. I think it's something like 270 grams. Again, compared to most of the shoes, which are 220 grams here. It just felt stiff, and I wasn't getting much more from the plate. It felt gimmicky to me, and it's weird because I know a lot of people did like the shoe. Rory Linkletter, who I was talking about, I think he raced a marathon in this shoe, so it seemed to work well for some people despite the heavy weight. It just never quite did it for me. And now this thing, and it never was in the conversation for best shoes. Not a lot of people even tried it, and I don't think any of the testers put it on their list of best shoes last year. And now this thing, everyone is putting it on their list and saying it's the best thing since the Super Blast. So we'll see. We'll get the miles in. Let's put it through the lab first. All right, look at that. We've got our scale back in action. I just took the batteries from our coffee scale. So Puma Fast R3. Let's see where this thing weighs in. It feels light. It feels under 200 grams or around 200 grams in my size. Yeah, look at that. 190 grams. Man. Yeah, that is super light. For some context here, the last version of this shoe, which I'm telling you, this thing is heavy. This is one of the heaviest race shoes out there. Or it was. Yeah, almost 100 grams heavier, 278.7. That's just crazy. I do think this is a new compound here, and they've also shaved off some of the weight from foam. It looks like there's just less foam, especially in the midfoot and the forefoot. It looks to be narrower. I do have my calipers here, so let's get a measurement on that. If we can measure at the widest point of the midfoot of the Fast Star. Oh, it's in inches. Yeah, widest point of the midfoot of the Fast Star to 114 grams. And then widest point in the Fast Star 3. Yep, around 109, 100 and... Let's see. Oh, no, widest point is actually very similar. 113 grams. So they've kept that width up in the front. Let's see in the back and the heel. Widest point of the heel. 81 grams. That's super narrow. That's almost Metaspeed Sky Paris levels of narrowness. Yeah, 86 in the last version. So it's overall a slimmer, trimmer shoe. If we do compare it to Metaspeed Sky Paris, which up to this point has been my fastest race shoe, other than the Streak Fly too, but that's just in a different category. Definitely fastest marathon shoe that you could potentially use for a longer run. 191. So dang. Look at that. It undercuts the Metaspeed Sky Paris just by a few grams here. Well, this is coming in at exactly 190. This one's coming in at super close, 191. So very similar very similar to the Metaspeed Sky Paris. I can now see why people like it so much, because one of my issues with the Metaspeed Sky Paris was just it didn't feel that special. It doesn't have a super aggressive rocker. Where it shines is you have to be putting a lot of force down into the front and just really tearing into the ground. So if what Puma can do here is make a geometry that is more efficient for people with a variety of styles of running, I could see why this is going to be such a banger. But yeah, 190 grams, very similar to the Sky Paris. For some context here, our friend the Alphafly up at 224, but you get a lot more cushion here. So it'll be interesting to see what Nike does in the Alphafly now that all these brands are coming to the market with something different. We have the new Adidas shoe, the Evo Pro 2, that's coming out with the V2. Nike doesn't have a $500 race shoe to compete in that segment. We have Asics coming out with the next 3, and then Puma with this one. All right, stack check. I think my favorite part of doing this channel is basically what we're doing now, just these long conversations and analyses, and I think that's what a lot of you all like as well, and of course the shenanigans. So one of the things I've been thinking of doing is leaning into that more and punching up the podcast part, and maybe even bringing that into other topics of running and bringing on different people to chop it up. But with my current setup, it's just not going to be possible. So I've been thinking of building something here where I can have a podcast studio, because I've mentioned this a few times, but the reason I film outside is from necessity. I just can't be inside. My office in here does not have doors, so I can't do this inside. That's why I'm either out here at the shoe market or down at the street at the mailbox, because I can talk. So we'll see. Maybe sometime within the next year. The thing is, the pipes broke, the fridge breaks. There's a lot of things that come up, so might take some time. But I appreciate everyone who just sticks with it, rolls with it. That's the whole hobby jogger mentality. We operate within our resources and constraints. We do the best we can with what we have, and we improve as we go. So Puma Fast R3, just about what I would expect, 38.95 on the right side. Let's take the left shoe out of the box here. Let's see where this guy comes in. And this just feels like a special shoe. There's some shoes where you hold it in your hands. It's like when you got that new Nintendo DS and you just held it and looked at it. You didn't even have a game fired up. You just opened it, closed it, pressed all the buttons. This is one of those shoes where I wish I did this unboxing yesterday, so I could have just enjoyed this and just sat on the couch and held it in my hands and looked at it. It is a cool looking shoe. It's a cool feeling shoe. It looks like a piece of technology. Look at this sculpting in the back. And this foam, with the way that they've painted it, it has a very flat vibe to it. It's like Play-Doh. It's flat and smooth. The old foam, it has a rougher texture to it. So it definitely feels different, and pushing it in just feels slightly different. And it's not a super soft foam, which I like, at least to the touch. And then, yeah, with the plate poking out and how aggressive it is, that's cool. And then the other thing is the Puma grip. It's flat here as well. So what I've always liked about the Puma grip actually is they typically will do it more textured like this. You can see, so it bites into the ground. So that's one thing we'll have to see here. Did they sacrifice, and we're not going to see it today because it's dry, but when it is wet, did they sacrifice some grip to save weight? That would be a bummer. And I'm going to guess yes. There are just certain trade-offs that get made in the design process, and it looks like that is one of them. All right, let's get a left check. Boom, look at that. That's wild. So great QA on the stack, 38.94. The other side was 38.95. So well put together shoe. Feels like it's worth $321. And again, I was talking about this yesterday with the Tracksmith shoe. I have no problem spending $300 on a shoe or recommending a $300 shoe if it feels that the value is there. Now, if it's merely a price markup and there's nothing additional I'm getting from a $300 shoe versus a $230 shoe, then that's not cool. But just comparing these two side by side, right? The Fast R3, the upper, gives me more of an upmarket vibe. There's a lot more design attention to detail here with this the split front and the back. It just looks like a high performance shoe, right? It's like the Porsche Macan here versus the 911 Turbo S. Left side, 187.37. So a few grams different. That's nothing to write home about here. Nice put together shoe. It looks like a banger. Let's get this thing on foot. Change my shorts still. These are not running shorts, but I guess I'm just gonna roll with it. I'll do it after I have the shoes on. The other thing about if I just turn this into a podcast, just transition, hard pivot, be podcast first, that's like instant credibility right there. Because if you tell somebody you have a podcast, it's like you're smart. Versus YouTube channel, no. Why is that? Podcasters smart, YouTubers not smart. It's just inherent, what do they call it? Inherent bias. If you just picture a podcaster in your head, it's like a smart person with glasses doing thoughtful takes. And then a YouTuber is an unintelligent person, probably does not have glasses, or maybe they're wearing sunglasses. I guess that's the difference. Podcasters wear prescription glasses, YouTubers wear non-prescription sunglasses. It's an interesting dynamic. This thing fits perfectly in a size 10.5 in my typical size. Get enough room up here. This is one of the best fitting race shoes actually, and it doesn't have the sawtooth laces, but these are soft, nice and soft laces. Perfectly long to do our no flop knot. And let's see, yeah, lacing this thing up actually doesn't feel too aggressive. Now, hold on, let's do a walk test. But yeah, let's just do a walk test. So a few things here. Great step-in feel, much more comfortable than the Metaspeed shoes. And it doesn't feel too soft and squishy, but right away I can feel these differences, man. You get a ton of foam in the mid forefoot here. I wish I did a caliper check, but it feels like 35 millimeters of stack under the forefoot here, which is just wild. And with the geometry, it's not too aggressive. I can feel that there's not a whole lot directly under my heel. But what it does is it encourages you to get right up on that mid forefoot, and then with this rocker, it just pushes you along. So I can already see here some of the differences that are making this shoe such a hit. It's the lightweight, it's that thick stack under the forefoot, a platform for pushing off without being harsh and uncomfortable, and then the geometry reinforced by this plate here. That's really what's doing it. I always talk about getting up on that forefoot, the grip and rip shoes, the ones that let me drive through with power. I can tell this thing is going to have it because of that plate up here and because of the geometry. So I have to go change my shorts, and then we can get some mileage in. I have a workout on the calendar. I'll talk to you when we get out there. Let me just go change. Beautiful, beautiful sounds. By the way, we had to go full Miami Vice mode this morning. You know, we went white hat, blue singlet with the pink shorts. The issue is this blue is different than the blue over here. It's a little clashy, but I think when you're wearing these shoes, you'll be running so fast, nobody will be able to see anything except the white. So blue, pink, and white, that's the good vibe for today. Let's get it going here. I wonder if this foam is gonna need some break-in. Whew, man. This thing is aggressive, man. Puts me right up on my toes. So I ran 23 miles yesterday with hill sprints, and whenever I do hill sprints or sprints in general, it's a fine line. Sometimes they can zap my legs, but more often than not they make me feel stronger the next day because I got those fast twitch muscles firing. So I'm hoping that's the case today. I did the community challenge workout yesterday. And today we're doing another workout. Yeah, these are super aggressive. Do not feel great for jogging. Man, my calves are just taking a beating recently. But I'm focused on shorter distance races right now, so that's what I gotta do. Strengthen up those calves, dig into 5K pace. This is very similar in feel to the Sky Paris. Might be even more aggressive. What I'm surprised about though, so far, is because everyone has been so excited with this thing, I thought it was gonna be more comfortable. But they have made some trade-offs here. You get a lot of cushion in the forefoot, but so far, it's not a very comfortable toe-off experience. Yeah, it's hard to review a shoe like this at jogging speeds, but I mean, I'm going a 7:14 pace, which that's faster than a lot of people's marathon paces. For me, at these paces, this just feels, it just feels too aggressive. Just wants me to go fast. So I'm gonna warm up and then we can hit some reps here and see how it does. Oh gosh, dude, Charlie told me one of these guys was macking on her yesterday. Which one was it? Might have to send the Max Cushion gang out. She said they asked her where her parents are from. Don't ask my wife where her parents are from. Yeah, this might be obvious to some people, but so far, this just feels like speed above all else. Maybe even more so than the Metaspeed Sky Paris. It is so aggressive, and I have to be up at the front. And in a marathon shoe, I'm not sure if that's what I want. But maybe this is more of like a streak fly competitor. The other thing I do want to mention, because I'm not absolutely loving this, especially at jogging paces,
so far is I didn't like the Metaspeed Sky Paris for a long time. Same with the Alphafly. Sky Paris I actually did like in the beginning, and then after I raced in it, I didn't. So I don't know. Everyone's saying this is the best shoe ever. Maybe it's gonna take me some time. But yeah, I'm at a 650 pace. I still feel like that's too slow for this. Update, running at a 6 flat pace. I still feel too slow for these. I cannot imagine running a marathon in this. Holy cow. These are aggressive. They are fast though. Dude, this shoe is kicking my butt. Mess around and find out. Oh man, I messed around running these after a 23-mile day in hill sprints. I am finding out. This feels like a 5K PR shoe. It's the type of shoe that makes me want to go cry in Charlie's arms and put on my Neo Zen. I am too soft for these. I just did a stride and feels a lot better when I open up my stride all the way. When I start the workout, I'll pop the camera down, try to get a good angle so you can get a visual, but it really benefits from lengthening my stride. Early overreaction here. If I didn't know about the lab test results on this thing, I don't think I would be that excited to run in it right now. It is not comfortable at all. It is really stiff in the front because of the plate. And it doesn't feel that great at anything except my fastest paces. So we have a 200 and 400 workout this morning. So that's gonna be optimal for these paces. But man, this thing is aggressive. More aggressive than the Sky Paris. And maybe it's because I put so many miles on that thing. I just like it now, but so far, this isn't feeling better than the Sky Paris to me. It just feels more aggressive, but also something about it is just feeling awkward with the plate up the front and the toe off. But you can't argue with the lab test. So races are not running in a lab though. Yeah, it just feels compromised. The comfort is not there. Which again, it's not designed to be a comfortable shoe, but I know a lot of people were racing marathons in it though. So I thought it would be, I don't know what I thought. Yeah, I'm getting my booty torched to buy this thing. I'm starting the first part of this workout, 200s. crazy. Holy split. Disgusting, filthy, nauseating. I might pull down these John G 5-inchers and right now. That's how gross these are. Bro, holy split. Holy split. Oh my gosh, dude. So I went 426. I was doing 200s. For some context, I'll typically do these in anywhere from 31 to 36 seconds, which is about a 5 flat to 440 pace. And that's what I was getting in January when I was first doing these. I went 426 pace and I said, okay, we're cooking. I was shooting for a 5 flat, but we're cooking. Then 413 pace, then 355 pace, then 353 pace. These are numbers that I only see ever on a track or a closed environment, a Karen-free oval like we have in Harrisburg. 353, and this is, I don't know if you can tell, this is uphill right here too. Disgusting. Yeah, this is not a jogging shoe at all. This is a race car. I don't even know what the name of the car would be that this is. This is like an F1 car. It's not even like an Aventador or anything you would buy to drive on the street. It feels miserable for jogging. It's stiff, uncomfortable, clunky. But man, once I open up the stride, holy, the only thing that can describe it is profanities, which I don't say on this channel. Just mama llama jamma. Whew. Shout out Jesus. Oh my goodness. I feel like the first man who discovered crack. Oh, black manny, my name. Oh, black manny, my name. You know that song? That's what these shoes are like. I don't even like rock and roll type of shoes that make me put on some AC/DC right after this. Let's go. The first 400 in the books, that was downhill. 455 pace. These are a cheat code. It's crazy. Look who it is. Did they mac on you today? She said no. We must have had the slugs come through. I'll let them know. Hitting on my wife, that's crazy. He must not have seen the mileage. Don't let the pretty colorway fool you. These shoes are evil. They are evil. Oh gosh, we're going again. Here's the thing about the devil. You think the devil is gonna be this decrepit old man with saliva and blood caked on his face, pus oozing out of his eyeballs. That's not the devil. The devil is a pretty woman. She lures you in with their siren song and breaks you against the sharp rocks of seduction. These shoes are the devil. All right, 4 reps in here of these 400s, moving. I could barely hang on to a 512 pace in the winter, putting down 450 today with ease. And some of that's the shoe, but the shoe's only gonna get you 1 or 2%. This is the work. Man, hit 440 on that last 400. People always say no complaining. Complain. I've said this before. This is my philosophy. Complain all you want. As long as you're doing the work, complain. Sing, dance, cry, laugh, jump, scream, punch the air, eat grass. Do whatever you need to do the work. I was complaining all winter. And now I'm out here dropping repeats 30 seconds per mile faster than a few months ago. Repulsive, revolting, sickening, deplorable, despicable. These are nasty, nasty. These are the sexy red of running shoes. Hit this last set at 2 hundos and call it a day. Man, finally made it to the light at the end of the tunnel. That was a great workout. We've had 5 or 6 good workouts in a row. For a while there, I was batting 140. So yeah, last set of 200s was hanging on to low 4s. It's also a slight downhill assist here. But in the winter, running a very similar workout, I would come out here, and when I felt like I was falling off the pace, I was hitting 520 per mile, 530. Today, when I felt I was falling off the pace on the 200s, I was hitting 417. So that is progress for sure. Consistent mustard. And yeah, I really want to change for the cool down. I honestly might. These are as terrible for jogging as they are great for running fast. They're just so uncomfortable. It's miserable jogging in these. Doesn't even feel like a running shoe when I'm jogging. Feels like I'm in a pair of high heels or something. Some sleek Steve Madden pumps. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'll see you at the cool down. This is like when you take your car to the track. You don't drive that race car to the track, you trailer it. The Solomon Airglide 3 here, this is the truck. This is the truck that's towing the trailer, man. Yeah, you need another shoe. I think Fast R3 for me, I don't even know if it's going to be a marathon shoe. It might just be 530 per mile pace and faster. Thing is repulsive. Yeah. Yeah. This feels like coming home. You know what this feels like? I'm not even going to say it. Let you use your imagination. Let's get out of here. See you on the other side. Bro. Oh, man. All right, we finished the cool down. I'm super glad I changed shoes. I also ended up going a mile extra. So 4 miles, 8:56 pace. I caught up with Charles about a half a mile in. So I got the stroller and pushed it, and we ran for maybe a mile and a half together. So some more elevation, some more resistance with the stroller. That's how you finish out a workout right there. 10 minutes pushing the double stroller with 2 kids uphill. But this is what I'm saying, man. Dropping 9-minute miles. It's all about polarized training. Run these relaxed miles, relaxed, and hit the fast sets at a 350 pace. Disgusting. Fast R3, man. That thing is
You see those things? They're so evil. They're just glowing bright white over there. Yeah, those things are so fast. They might be the fastest shoe on the market now, but they do come with a giant asterisks, which I will unpack right after this break.
But I did it. I've been listening to the Big X, the Plug album a lot over the last few months, and it's fire. His voice has this gravelly bass and gravitas, but I also think the more I listen to it, the more I like it, but it's almost like all the songs sound the same, and it's very polished, which the lyrical content is not. It's raw, it's authentic, he's speaking from the heart, but the beats all sound very similar. He works with 3 producers, and it sounds very popish. So it's weird, but I mean, there's a lot of bangers on there. Law and Order, Lost the Love, Therapy Session, Leave Me Alone. The one I was listening to now, what is it called? Change Me. But sometimes it does feel like he has one flow, but here's the thing. If that flow is what people want from you, like on the largest, and it's enjoyable, then you're gonna do that for the entirety of your first album to introduce the people to it. You know what else has one flow? The Puma Fast R3. This is a one note, one flow, one speed shoe, and it is all go. All gas, no brakes, all demon time, no angel. I'm telling you, bro, this thing will break you. It'll break your heart. You know, bite your head off. What are those animals? Is it the spider, the black widow spider, where the woman eats the head of the man after they're done mating? That's what this thing is. Oh, there's kids. You guys can come through. It's all good. Putting in work. Got the hobby bikers coming through. Got the mom putting in the work. We got the big truck coming through. It's a beautiful day in Hill. It's a great day for some biking.
It is, yes.
You know, it's the opposite of a nice bike ride with your family. Puma Fast R3. So let's throw up the run for today. I got about 2 or 3 miles of warm up into 4x200. That's really to get the legs moving so that we can get into the tofu of the workout, which is 6x400, and then a nice burner at the end there, another 4x200, just to let them know. That last one is really just to let them know. So, man, this thing felt absolutely miserable, atrocious, terrible, awkward, clunky, uncomfortable, just not enjoyable whatsoever the first 2 miles. And you heard me out there saying, gosh dang, if this thing weren't so hyped up and lab tested to be the best thing since the OG Super Blast, praise Jesus Christ, I wouldn't even really be giving it a chance. But man, I'm glad I did, because as soon as I hit that first 200, I was saying, okay, I'm gonna do this at 5 flat, and I saw a 426. I knew we were in for something special, and it was history after that. I went something like 426, 413, and then I split 2 350 somethings in terms of the pace on those 200s, which is ripping off 200s in about 23 seconds, which is just nasty compared to where I was a few months ago, which just goes to show this is the entire philosophy we have here. We build the mileage, we train by feel, we do what we can given our resources and constraints, and when we want to get faster at a certain pace range, whether it's marathon pace, 5K pace, mile pace, we hammer that pace. MVP, mileage, vibes, pace. It's what I did last year for the marathon, hammering 240 pace, and it's what I'm doing right now on my high-end speeds, just hammering them. And man, this is a great shoe for hammering those paces. Headline here is it lives up to the hype and more. It exceeds the hype. It exceeded my expectations. It was horrible at those slow paces, but man, when I was getting those legs cranking at
5 flat, 450, 430, 350. It was insane. I wouldn't even call it bounce. It doesn't feel like a bouncy shoe, but it's propulsive. It really is. And I mean, my goodness, we've rubbed off that black Puma in the bottom here, but it is so propulsive. It just pulls me forward. That's the best way to describe it. What this rocker geometry and the way that the plate is angled here does is, as soon as I put power through the midfoot and forefoot here, it pulls me into the next phase of my stride so quickly. So it's not a snap and it's not a bounce. It's this gravitational force forward where it feels like once I get into that stride and build up the momentum, it's gonna keep me going. And that's how the Fast R2 was described to me by the Puma rep in 2023. He used the word momentum. He said propulsive power, lower cadence. Essentially, you want to drive the force. Oh gosh, there's tons of mosquitoes out here. We're in for it now, fellas. Oh gosh, let's call up the Citronella fellas and get it ready. But yeah, that's how the previous version of this was described to me. It did not do that whatsoever. This thing nails it and more. It's giving me what feels like 10 to 15 seconds per mile speed assistance. So much speed assistance, man. I've never seen a 426 pace on a 200 and felt like that. I've never seen a 350 pace on a 200 and felt like that. And I'm telling you, man, so it's a combination this morning of my fitness and the shoe, but I did a 23-mile day yesterday. I did hill sprints in the morning. And the thing with the hill sprints is if you nail them, if you do it at the appropriate effort, with the appropriate recovery within your capability level, hill sprints or regular sprints, the next day's workout, your legs will be so strong because you got those fast twist muscles firing. But the downside, it's like walking a thin line, right? You can't be Icarus. If you fly too close to the sun, you're gonna get burnt. The downside is if you do them too hard, then your legs are gonna be toast. But if you thread that needle, keep them at 90% effort, a lot of the time, the next day, you'll get that super compensation effort. You'll get the bounce back. And your legs will be so strong. And that's how we were this morning. It was a nasty combination, this thing and just where my fitness and capability is. My concern with it, and the question I still have is, yes, it's fast. Yes, I was flying, hitting some of the fastest splits of my life. On those 400s, I was going something like 450s, 440s, just burning in this thing, super fast. But with how bad it felt at my jogging pace, and I cannot over-exaggerate, overemphasize, and hammer this point home enough. This did not feel good for anything other than the workout portion of this run. It felt terrible for the warm-up. It felt terrible for the jog recovery between the sets, and it felt so bad on the cool down that I came back and I changed into the Aero Glide 3, which I never do. The only time I do that is when I'm going to the track or Harrisburg or the Greenway and I bring another shoe. And the last time I did that was with the Streak Fly 2, or if I'm doing one of those efficiency tests and I'm doing a bunch of shoes, I'll usually warm up or cool down. But for marathon race shoes, which this is supposed to be a marathon shoe, I have never changed out of it for a cool down. So that's how bad this felt to me at those paces. And maybe we're gonna have the peanut gallery saying heel striker this, heel striker that. Yeah, maybe it's heel striking. I don't know. It just felt absolutely miserable for jogging for me. Very stiff, clunky, harsh, uncomfortable. I just could not work with this platform at those relaxed paces. It felt like my foot was in a binding device and there was somebody just taking a hammer and pounding it into the middle with how harsh this plate is. So not good at all. And my question is, where is that threshold going to be? Because for this workout today, I have jogging, and we can say jogging for me is anything from a 650 to a 905, which was what I was running today, especially when I was with Charlie in the stroller at the cool down in the Aero Glide 3. So anywhere from that 650 7 flat to a 9-minute mile did not feel good, even at a 615, which that's not jogging, that's running for me. That's moderate paced running, not quite marathon pace, slightly slower. Still didn't feel good at that moderate range. So it doesn't feel good at a 615, definitely doesn't feel good at a 730, and 100% feels terrible at an 850. Where is the line? Because 5 flat, yeah, that's feeling good. 430, that's feeling great. And all out effort, 95% effort out of 350, fantastic. So somewhere between a 615 and a 5 flat for me, which is moderate paced zone 3 effort, somewhere in there is where the tipping point is going to be. So next test in this, I'm going to need to do some marathon pace and half marathon pace. Just the thought of doing not marathon pace, but a full marathon in it is scary to me. I did a full marathon in the Sky Paris, did not love it. It was a 2:49. My fitness right now is anywhere from a 2:30 to 2:36. I'd be somewhere in that range, maybe 2:31. I'm not sure. Regardless, sub 2:40 for sure, roughly around 2:35, 2:33 range, given where my training paces have been. The idea of running in this for about 2.5 hours to me is scary. Does not feel good. I would much rather take the Metaspeed Sky Paris. The geometry of that is aggressive, but you have more cushion on the heel. It's weird to say that feels more natural, more comfortable, especially now that it's broken in. That FF Turbo Plus really has gotten a more approachable, dare I say, comfortable character to it near 100 miles, and especially in the Edge Paris. That one almost feels milk toast to me. It feels like it lacks the bite. This does not lack the bite. So I'm taking the Sky Paris for the full marathon, at least right now, over this. This just feels like if a brand said, 6th letter of the alphabet, let's make the most aggressive shoe possible. I don't care how it feels for people who aren't running elite paces. I don't care if anyone's going to buy it. Let's just engineer this for pure speed. That's what this feels like. I thought this is what the Evo Pro, the $500 race shoe, was going to feel like. That did not. That felt a lot more normal, a lot more approachable, good stability. You could land in a variety of ways. It wasn't super aggressive. It was just a perfectly tuned race shoe. It was like if you could make the best version of the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. That is not what this thing is. This is a speed weapon, as aggressive as the Nike Streak Fly 2, maybe even more so in the front with how firm it is. At least with the Streak Fly, in that shoe you have the softer race foam. This isn't going to put you up on your toes as much and does have more in the heel, but it's just not a comfortable shoe to work with for jogging. So the open question I have, and I'm sure there's other people out there at different pace ranges who have tested this, who can give you those insights, is just how is this going to be for the marathon in general? I know people have run this, the influencers Puma sent this to, but man, I'm having a hard time thinking about it. Did they have 3-hour marathoners and 4-hour marathoners running this? Because to me, that just sounds like no fun at all in this thing. I don't even know if half marathon this would be what I would choose. I was out there for about an hour this morning and it wasn't my favorite. So that's the part where it's still an open question. And I said this earlier, but Alphafly 3, I thought it was too aggressive at first. Metaspeed Sky Paris, same thing, especially after running that race 2:49 in it and having a rough go in the back half. That's where I am with it at the moment. It feels too aggressive for me for the marathon, but I want to do some testing. And there's two distinct questions here. It's how does it feel at the pace? So a 2:30 marathon pace is a 5:40. How does it feel at a 5:40 pace? Do I feel that I'm getting the efficiency benefits out of it? Because at a 7:30 pace and 6:15 pace, I'm definitely not getting those efficiency benefits out of it. And if I am, any detrimental feel that I'm experiencing way outweighs the 1% or 2% gain in efficiency, because it's just distracting and uncomfortable. The second question is, how does it feel for the time on feet? So an hour this morning didn't feel good, but if that hour were a tempo at a 5:50 pace, would it have felt better? So somewhere between 6:15 and 5 minute per mile is going to be the tipping point of this shoe, of where slower than that, I'm not going to want to pull it. Faster than that, I'm going to want to pull it. So maybe I'll do some sort of marathon pace workout in it and half marathon pace workout in it. I do have a threshold workout on the calendar next. So maybe I'll use it for that or one of the upcoming threshold workouts I have. Threshold right now for me is anywhere from 5:20 to 5:35. So that's right in the middle of where I think this shoe's tipping point will be. So absolute banger, incredible shoe. Could not be better for fast running. Lives up to the hype. exceeded my expectations. Let's knock out those 3 questions that we answer in these first run reviews. How does it do versus the intended purpose? It's designed to be a marathon racing shoe and a speed weapon. Marathon racing shoe, still up for debate. Speed weapon, 100%. This is the fastest carbon plated shoe I've ever tried. I was hitting my fastest splits this morning. My fitness has progressed, but this is also giving me so much speed assistance. Second question, how does it do versus the category? Man, way more aggressive than anything else, more aggressive than the Metaspeed Sky Paris, more aggressive than the Alphafly. The only shoe that is potentially more aggressive than this is the Streakfly 2. Question number 3, how does this do versus everything else on the market? At $300, actually $321 with taxes and shipping. It's expensive, and this is where versus the Metaspeed Sky Paris, that just feels like a better buy to me if you're going to be doing a lot of training in a shoe. This isn't something that I'm going to pull for often. Metaspeed Sky Paris, I can feel confident pulling for that for a 22-mile long run now with marathon pace repeats, because I know, yeah, it's punishing and harsh at some paces, but it's not uncomfortable and, well, I said it was punishing and harsh. That might be too harsh. I might be punishing and harsh on that shoe. This is in a different category when it comes to aggression versus any of the other marathon shoes, and that's what you have to keep in mind. This is not a tempo shoe. This is not a long run cruiser. This is not Max Cushion Gang. This is the devil, and you're only going to want to take this out when you want to come face to face with Satan. So $300, $200, $400, it doesn't really matter. The question is, can you work with the platform at your faster paces, at your goal race paces? For most people, I'm going to say you're going to get the efficiency benefits out of this at 5K and 10K pace. I'm really having a hard time, and maybe I'll be eating my words after the long run, but I'm having a hard time thinking this is going to be a great option for a lot of people for the marathon. And again, at that $300, there's just better options if we do want to bring value into the equation. The Deviate Nitro Elite 3 super durable shoe that is great at a variety of paces. That one almost feels like a daily trainer when I'm at an 8:30 pace. This thing feels like a daily painter. So yeah, complete banger. Not comfortable, but if you want to eat some speed for breakfast, bada boom, bada bang. This is Supwell certified out of the box here. If I'm going for a 5K PR, it's going to be this or the Streakfly. And of course, the Metaspeed Sky Paris is in the conversation. So Puma Fast R3, you can believe the hype. This is an incredible shoe. Yeah, I'm excited to race in it. I will definitely be racing in it in the summer. I'm going to start lining some 5Ks up, and this will be a shoe that I take out to do some damage. All right, I appreciate you all. Make sure to use my Running Warehouse link to support the channel. Make sure to sign up for the Supwell Community Challenge. Run some dang hills. I probably got 1,500 feet of elevation gain or something this morning. So eat those hills, eat that mileage, keep the vibes high, and keep that pace where it needs to be. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.